Alright, this next example we have Stephanie and Jose are selling cheesecakes for the school fundraiser. Customers can buy pecan cheesecakes and strawberry cheesecakes. So I see a couple things that they have, pecan and strawberry. Stephanie sold 9 pecan cheesecakes and 12 strawberry cheesecakes for a total of $294. Jose sold 2 pecan cheesecakes and 6 strawberry cheesecakes for a total of $122. Find the cost each of 1 pecan cheesecake and 1 strawberry cheesecake. Now that is a lot more words than the last example we looked at. I want to break it down into a couple sentences that stand out to me. The first part tells me they're selling cheesecakes. The second sentence tells me that there are 2 different kinds. Then it gets into Stephanie's situation. I'm going to just highlight that right there. If you have colored pencils or highlighters, I would very strongly encourage you to use those as well, or to ask to get some. There's a second sentence about Jose that I'm going to highlight in purple right below it. And then the last part just says what we're supposed to do, finding the cost of one of each of those cheesecakes. We want to identify what are some of the variables, the things that we want to know about in this situation. And for that, we're going to be looking at the cost of 1 pecan cheesecake and the cost of 1 strawberry cheesecake. So, cost of pecan cheesecake, let's give that a letter. And to me, the easiest letter to work with is probably just P for pecan. And here we have the cost of the strawberry, and let's call that S for strawberry. So we have the cost of the pecan, the cost of the strawberry. Those are the things we want to know. So those are our variables, our letters. We need to plug those into some sentences now. So with that orange sentence about Stephanie, it says she sold 9 pecan cheesecakes. So she sold 9 of the pecan ones. And since we're going to total it up to dollars, we want to somehow turn 9 pecan cheesecakes into dollars. So if she sold 1 pecan cheesecake and let's say it was $5, it would cost $5. She sold 2 pecan cheesecakes at $5 each, it would be $10. If she sold 10 pecan cheesecakes at $5 each, it would be $50. And so what you use is you take the number you bought times the cost. So if she sold 9 of the pecan cheesecakes, we're going to multiply it by the cost. We don't know what that is, but we know it's P. So we're just going to say 9 times P. Then we have 12 strawberry cheesecakes. So we have 12 of them at a cost of, we don't know, but we'll call it S. So 12 of them at a cost of S. And it came out to a total of $294. So a total means that we're going to take however much we made from the pecan ones plus however much we made from the strawberry ones, and we're going to add them together. And it is $294. So we have 9 pecan plus 12 strawberry is equal to this amount of money here. Let's use the same logic to go through Jose. Jose sold 2 pecan, so 2 times the price of the pecan for Jose, and 6 strawberry cheesecakes, so and 6 times the strawberry. So we're going to add those together for a total of $122. We now have 2 equations. If we're going to solve this, we want to figure out what is the easiest thing to get alone as a variable. And in the previous section, we had problems that had just a letter by itself. This one, if we look at all the places where we have letters, none of them are by themselves. So we're going to have to pick the one that's most likely to be easiest to get alone. If I had to guess, I would say that 2p, given that it's a small number, is going to be easiest to get alone. Especially since all these numbers are even, I'm pretty convinced that I'll be able to divide by 2 without fractions. So I'm going to take this equation right here. And if I want to get p alone, then I need to get that 6s off of this side. And how do I get rid of a positive 6s? I'm going to add a negative 6s to both sides. I'm going to add a negative 6s to both sides. And when I do that, I'm left with 2p equal 122 minus 6s. Then I want to get p alone. They're connected through multiplication, so I divide every single term by 2. So I like to divide one term at a time, just like that, so I don't lose track of my negatives or lose track of my 2's. That reduces down to just p over here. 122 divided by 2, throw that in your calculator, is going to be 61. Over here, it is minus 6 over 2. 6 over 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then I have my s. So p is equal to 61 minus 3s. That will help me because I want to plug that in, what p is equal to here, for p. So now I'm going to take my orange equation that I had before. I'm going to write 9 times my p, which is 61 minus 3s, I'll write that in a second. 9 times whatever p is, plus 12s is equal to 294. Be careful with your handwriting, especially when you're using letters like S. They can look like 5s. So you can see that this here is an S, but be careful you don't get that mixed up with your own handwriting. We're going to replace p with what we know to be p, which is that 61 minus 3s. And then we're going to be distributing. 9 times 61. Generally I like to do these in my head, but even I'm going to go for my calculator this time. And that's going to be 549 minus 9 times 3s. So the 9 is going to be multiplied by that 3s, and that's going to give us a negative 27s. Plus the 12s we had before is equal to 294. We're going to combine our like terms here. So a negative 27 and a positive 12 add up to a negative 15s. And we still have our 549 here being added on, equals to 294. We want to get that 15s by itself so we can get s by itself. So we need to add a negative 549 to both sides. And when we take the 294 minus the 549, or plus a negative 549, we get a negative 255 over here, equal to negative 15s. Last step is we need to divide both sides by negative 15 to get the s alone. And when we divide by negative 15 in our calculators, we get s is equal to 17. So s is equal to 17. Now we're going to use that, just like we did in all the other problems. We're going to take that s equals 17, plug it into the other equation so we can get p. So when we write our equation, p is equal to 61 minus 3s. We're going to replace s with our new answer of 17. So p is equal to 61 minus, and 3 times 17, toss that in our calculator, we get 51. So p is equal to 10. So based on this problem, since p is the cost of the pecan cheesecake, we expect it to be 10, or $10. And the strawberry, we expect to be s equals 17, or $17. So we think we know the answer to this. So let's check it in the equation that we didn't solve for earlier. So this equation here was the original one that we didn't solve for p or s earlier. So let's plug all these numbers in and see if it still works. We're going to have 9 times the cost of the pecan, 9 times 10, plus 12 times the cost of the strawberry, 17, equals 294. Well, 9 times 10 is going to be 90, plus 12 times 17, throw that in the calculator and you get 204. And that's supposed to equal 294. 90 plus 204 does in fact equal 294. So we did our check, we are good to go. And our final answer, we just want to make sure we explain what we found, which is $10 for pecan and $17 for strawberry. And we'll continue on in the last video.